I think that everyone's trying to do content a little bit, but we're kind of the organization that just says, let's go, let's start. And we're going to make mistakes, and over planning is never something that benefits you, right? Sometimes you just got to start. And so I think people are like, wow, this is neat. I haven't seen anybody do this before. Let's do this together. We'd like to do this with you. We'd like to participate. So I think that has been really, really positive. And it also tells me that people are looking for new and different ways to connect with practices, especially connect in the special market space. You got some really great, conferences that are out there, whether it's DICOMA or ADSO. They all do a fantastic job, but people are looking, especially manufacturers, are looking to tell their story more often. Why would a DSO want to work with this manufacturer or with, us as a distributor? So I think people are just looking for those outlets, and this is a really great way to do that.
Jordan, what's going on?
Not much, John. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Green Bay treat you okay?
Green Bay is amazing. It was a little bit surreal to be having my coffee this morning, and then of course like seeing Lambeau right there. But such a great city, and it's been a great 2 days. Had the opportunity to spend some time with Betsy and kick off this Beyond the Operatory podcast, and then kind of give all her insight. She's amazing. I'm so excited for that, to be introduced to a lot of your guys' customers. And then same thing with Ken, right? More like on the business technical side.
Yeah.
What I thought we would do is like have you talk a little bit about kind of the vision behind the podcast, like what you're excited about. You're doing a lot of great things on the sales and marketing side, but I know this has been something you wanted to do for a long time as a way to really separate Dental City from those that, are kind of doing, some of the same things you guys do in the industry.
Yeah. First, it's awesome having you here. My favorite thing from yesterday, though, was when we walked out of the building and I said, "Oh, it's really nice out." And you kind of chuckled, and because it was like 32 degrees, but I'm literally thinking to myself, no, this is really nice compared to what it was. So that was pretty fun.
He treated it like we were in Miami. I was like, he's like, "Oh man, it's really warm out here." I was like, what am I missing? It is, it's warm. It's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, the podcast though, I think for us, we've been a direct mail company for a long time. 33 years, sending out 100,000 pieces of direct mail. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a event where we set up a booth and we're sitting, and a hygienist or an assistant or a doctor walks up and they're like, "I've gotten your postcards before." It's like, yep, you have, and which is great to have that brand out there. There's brand awareness to that,
Absolutely.
right? And we still are a direct mail company, and there's nothing wrong with that. We love that. It's a great way to embrace offices that want to operate that way, and that's perfectly fine, and we love it. But there's certainly a transformation coming of how people consume. That it's already going on, not that it's coming, but of how people consume content. And it was a good opportunity for us to, I guess, put our brand, what we really stand behind, which is oral health as a whole. And we play a small role in that, and it's important for us to put things out to practices, DSOs, GPOs, procurement platforms, manufacturers of just different and new content, ways for people to get their message out there. And really, at the end of the day, it's supposed to benefit the practice and their patients, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And so just looked at it as a great opportunity to do that. So,
it's interesting. I still get, which does get my attention to your point, a direct mail piece from a local dental practice in my community in Louisville, Kentucky. And so I think it is cool that you all built that foundation that way. And I think that's why this is going to translate really well. I think that your current customer base, as well as those that you guys want to continue to serve, are hungry for new ideas, in regards to helping them grow their practice. There's no secret that there are some challenges in dentistry right now. And I think that's what was cool about this, is that you all had these resources like Betsy, like Ken, like others I know that you have in the wings that have raised their hand and said, absolutely, they'd love to kind of share their insights to help dental practices. And I'm really excited about, I think, how it's going to be received.
I think you look at that, what you get out of the message from Betsy or a message from Ken. And if you're a practice and you're watching it, or you're a DSO and you're watching it, it's not you can certainly we want you to watch the whole thing, but you might grab like one little nugget out of it. And that's the thing that spurs you on to say, I need to think about this just a little bit differently. And, that's the idea is grabbing bits and pieces of it. And I think that's what's so great about whether it's social media, whether it's podcast, videocast, whatever it is, you're just trying to pick up one or two things that you can then go and take back and say, how does this fit into what I do day in and day out? And that's really what we're after is can people get one or two great pieces of information that allow them to take the next step, action something differently than they did before.
So podcasts, especially the audio podcast, they grew really fast.
Yeah.
And then they kind of tailored off a little bit with the emergence of video. But what's interesting with a lot of, dental practices and teams that I talk to, they love the audio podcast, right?
Yeah.
Whether they're driving to work or they're working out or maybe taking a lunch break or what have you. So I know this is not only going to be up on YouTube as a lot of these episodes are put together, but then they're going to be on Spotify and Apple. And so the hope is that like those that subscribe are going to be able to, like you said, get those nuggets, which can,
Yeah.
could maybe change their week, their month, or their year.
Yeah, I agree. You get the bites that we, are going to chop
Absolutely.
up and deliver to you. And
Yeah.
yeah, those are all very important.
So let's talk a little bit about bringing your partners into this. I know that's one of the things that we talked about is that in the traditional distribution model,
Yeah.
right? Partners and manufacturers and the like, or what have you, are positioned in different ways. And I think one of the things that I have admired a lot about the way that you guys work, and more importantly, I think the relationship that you've built with your manufacturers,
Yeah.
is they genuinely believe that you all want to help them grow as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's from me speaking directly to a lot of these companies or whatever. And that's what I was excited about with this as well, is that having you all showcase them. There could be a lot of your current customers that may not know all the manufacturers that you work with. So I know that's another piece of this.
Right. And I think, without the manufacturers that provide us the products to bring to the customers, you don't have anything to sell, right? And on top of that, they support us in so many different ways, not just with their products, but with how they support us from a marketing perspective, how they partner with our team members, whether that's for training or anything like that, right? To put them out there and say, like, number one, their brand matters. The customer is buying their product because it's a great product. It's going to help them do dentistry better. It's going to help patient comfort. It's going to help, there's so many different things. So to have them have a space to kind of tell that story in a different way is really important to us because they've helped us for so many years get in front of customers in so many different ways. And so it's good to be able to have that opportunity to do that. I think at the same time too, the partnerships go, beyond just the manufacturers. And we've always looked at ourselves as we're a dental distributor first and foremost, and that's what we do. And that's what we want to be great at. And that's so many of the other videos that we've put out and you've seen is we've made that investment in our warehouse and we've done the distribution center pieces. And that's really key because that all helps us do that piece that we're centered on as best as we possibly can. So we know that there's people out there, like whether that's like, your Plan Forward or Curve Dental or any of these other partners that have what is in the best interest of the practice in mind for that specific space. If it's an insurance alternative, if it's a practice management system, if it's a marketing solution, like we want to be able to present those things to the practice as well. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Our expertise is here in distribution. We want to stay there. So being able to tell that story that we have these solutions and these partnerships is really important as well.
How does your customers, I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but how have they responded to you all aligning with what you would call like these service-based companies, not the traditional manufacturers of the supplies and materials that you guys are used to, providing them, but the introduction of like the Plan Forwards and the Curves, like this whole solution offering?
Sure.
What has that been like for them to know that like they're working with you guys in so many other ways, and now they know that you have partnerships with those companies and you're able to help get that message out to them as well?
Actually, I think right now, because it's so new, I think it's almost more surprise. Like the people that you bring it to and put it in front of, they're kind of like, oh, you have something here. And it's really up to us to tell that story even better, which is one of the reasons we're doing all of this, right? To make sure more people understand that these are companies we trust, you trust us, so you should also trust them. That's a great thing to be able to say and do. But right now it's more so like, oh, we didn't know, right? And that's okay. It just means it's time for us to tell our story a little bit more, a little bit better.
Well, and that's what I'm excited about most about this is, you and I've talked about this, is that there's nothing, I mean, I don't say this in a negative way. There's nothing worse than when you're working with a customer and 4 months later, they're like, wow, I had no idea you guys work with these companies, right? That's not a bad thing. I look at it as a compliment. but it is a reason to be able to leverage what we're doing here with video and the podcast and social media, because if that's where a lot of their attention is,
Yeah.
and they can learn about those great companies and then they take advantage of, like you guys said, you've already built a lot of that trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so hopefully it speeds things up and then they can implement those into their practice.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's the feedback been like? Because you all are also letting a lot of these companies know that you're moving in this direction. You want to highlight them. You want to kind of help them get their message out on social media. What's that been like?
That's been really fun to start telling that story, explaining to our, especially our manufacturer partners, like we're going to have this available because this is new. I think that everyone's trying to do content a little bit, but we're kind of the organization that just says, let's go, let's start. And we're going to make mistakes, and but over planning is never something that benefits you, right? Sometimes you just got to start. And so I think people are like, wow, this is neat. I haven't seen anybody do this before. Let's do this together. We'd like to do this with you. We'd like to participate. So I think that has been really, really positive. And it also tells me that people are looking for new and different ways to connect with practices, especially connect in the special market space. You got some really great, conferences that are out there, whether it's DICOMA or ADSO. They all do a fantastic job, but people are looking, especially manufacturers, are looking to tell their story more often. Why would a DSO want to work with this manufacturer or with, us as a distributor? So I think people are just looking for those outlets, and this is a really great way to do that.
So some of my conversations with Ken, we went through, if you're a newer dentist, kind of your roadmap and your options.
Mhm.
Do I go work in a private practice? Do I start my own practice? Do I go work for a DSO? And as we were going through a lot of those conversations, it really hit me. I think we all know this intuitively, but younger dentists have a lot of options, which is
They do.
encouraging. But what
Yeah.
that means for you all at Dental City is that means that it allows you to be able to serve all those different types of organizations.
Mhm.
So I know one of the things that you're excited about, you mentioned it a little bit, is some of this work that you're doing in the special markets place. So
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit and kind of what the vision is with your goals there.
Yeah, I think dentistry is going to continue to go this path of it, as it continues to look more and more like what medical has gone through, let's say 50 years ago.
Yep.
I don't think that there's anything that's going to reverse that. And what you mentioned about new dentists coming into the field, they're coming in with, some more debt than what
Yeah,
they used to.
absolutely.
You look at some of the demographics, there used to be a large like family connection, like a dentist would have their practice and then one of their children
Yep.
would, and there's less of that connection happening. And so the graduates look much different than they used to. It's a lot more female dentists than there used to be that are coming out of school. The last few years, it's been overwhelmingly more enrollments on the female side. So there's some things that come along with that. If you ever watch like the ADA Health Policy Institute from Dr. Marco
Yep.
Vicevic, great content, great stuff. And so what we see is that this really isn't going to change. And then you line up what's happening with consumerism when you buy on Amazon or you buy digitally, no matter whether it's on Amazon or whatever else, right? So I think the way people are buying is changing dramatically because they want the consumer experience in their day-to-day,
Yep.
business world. So we look at all of this as a great opportunity for us, for our size, for the fact that we're privately held, that we can move quickly, we can make changes fast, and we can really kind of attack these segments in ways that maybe some other people aren't prepared to. And so for us, it's just about constantly learning and consuming data, understanding where the market is going, and being very comfortable with reinvention and innovation. Like we know that we're going to have to continue to invest and innovate on what we were doing, last year or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. The reason I say last year is because how fast it's changing now. The environment that we're in with, what AI is doing, whether that is clinically speaking in a dental practice, but just how people are now consuming information is happening so quickly that, we're doing something today and we might be doing something drastically different than that, whether that's from a marketing perspective or whatever, 6 months from now. And our infrastructure has to be prepared to support that, whether that's what we're doing in our distribution center, what that's doing with our data and information that we have, how we're presenting that to our customers, whether it's through our own website, through our salespeople, through our connections with procurement platforms that are out there. We just have to prepare to continue to move the needle and be comfortable with an unsettling, space that we're in today. I kind of love it. I like change. I think it's fun. but it does unsettle you a bit for
Yeah.
sure.
So one of the things that we had a conversation about with Betsy is just the importance of the dental team.
Yeah.
And I think what's unique about your model and the work that you all do, and right outside this room right here, you have your sales team that is having conversations with dental practices
Yep.
every day,
Yeah.
all month. What is that like to know that like you're plugged in
Mhm.
on a daily basis with real conversations with these practices? So when you talk about change, gives you a little bit of that runway to be able to, if you need to ask questions, see where they are, like how you can continue to serve them.
Yeah.
So it's like, because you're still connected, you have that ability to maybe kind of, feel that pulse of what's going on in the street.
Yeah, and I think that the nice thing too about being an inside sales organization first is like, one, we've always been digital, right? There's not been that door to door,
Right.
which also, speeds up the amount of context that you're making. So you get a lot of information very quickly from a lot of people. So that's been really great. And talk about like the COVID transition and everything that happened there when that was going on, and the pandemic, and all of a sudden everything is digital and nothing is going into an office, and that's how we're set up. And from there, the market in what people expected and how they're communicated with, and especially, young people that are coming out and joining the workforce, they don't expect to necessarily have phone calls.
Mm.
They absolutely want somebody they can trust and talk to when something doesn't go right.
Right.
But where they're meeting you first is much different than where that and how that used to take place. So we've been really well set up for that. And I think we have a great team of people that are going through this transition too, just like, every other, market is, whether you are selling cars. I mean, you can buy a car through a vending machine.
Yep.
Right now. So everyone's kind of going through this transition together, and you have to be just open and honest, tell your story, and, gather as much information as you can and make decisions quickly, fail fast, right?
Yeah.
That's what you always hear. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy what the world looks like now compared to just a few years ago.
So to close, when you look at 2026, which is crazy, we're already here in 2026. What are you most excited about this year when you look at the company?
Everyone probably says this, but what I'm excited about is the work. We have really good people. We have fantastic people that you enjoy coming to work with, work for, work on behalf of, work together with every day. And I think as the industry has transitioned and as how people purchase has transitioned, we've just put in so much work to adapt to that and change with that. And I feel like we're beginning to hit our stride, and we're ready to take on what's ever coming next. Um, I had somebody ask me a couple of months ago, going through the distribution center, and they said, "Well, what do you think's coming with tariffs and all that stuff? And how does what you did in the distribution center help you with that?" And I said, I don't think that necessarily what we put in there or uh, really helps us, to prepare for the tariffs or prepare for anything like that. But what it is it's us putting months of research in, years of research in, putting together the proper plan, executing that plan, rolling that plan out, measuring how that plan has impacted us, making tweaks as we go to make sure we get absolutely the most out of that plan that we designed 9, 12, 15, whatever months ago, right?
Yeah.
And what that does is it sets us up for whatever is coming, because we know how to understand what's on our plate today, what we have sitting here and we're ready to execute on, design a plan around that, put that plan into place, execute and roll out that plan to our team, and then adjust as we go. And, if you're prepared to do that, sometimes your outcome looks like a bunch of robots running around your warehouse, and other times it doesn't look like that, right?
Right.
But it's the whole concept of executing on a plan that's so important for, the continuous growth of our business. And I think that that's the exciting thing for me is there's another plan that's coming and another one that's coming
Yeah.
after that, and we're ready to go. And we have great people, we have great leaders, we have great owners that are willing to make the investments in all of the things that are important to us. So
Well, I don't know if it was an accident, but in my conversations with Betsy and Ken,
yeah.
they have been involved in this organization in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
They have helped. They have been on the strategic side. They've been on the people side.
Yeah.
And what was really exciting to have them kind of share their frameworks and their insight is that I feel like, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, a lot of the same things that they were sharing and recommending to the dental practices that are going to watch their podcast episodes,
Yeah.
I feel like are some of the same things
Oh, I'm sure.
they're doing here. Like there's a lot of parallels. And I think with that, dental practices can take a lot of comfort in knowing that the same things that you all are having to do to invest for the future, to move this company forward, you're advocating the same things for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to pay off big time. And maybe that's what you're trying to say. And I'll say that. You don't have to say it. You know what I mean? You're a humble guy. But I think the bottom line is a lot of the work that you guys have put into this, I feel like over the next couple of years, you're going to rightfully so see the rewards, which ultimately the practices are the ones that get rewarded, right? Because you guys have been able to stay ahead of the game,
Right.
and to be able to get them what they need when they need it, which I think is exciting.
Yeah. I think you look at, I've been investment in people, let's just say, right? I've been here at Dental City for 12 years. I've been working with Betsy for 11 of them. And Betsy's been in this organization and working with, so many different people in this organization for that long, but that's the commitment and the investment John and Dave, have made. And to say like, look, continuously train me, help me improve on, the skill sets, the gaps that I have. And, so John always says every day is a school day. And there's something totally true to that. And I think that that's part of our culture and part of who we are. We're always learning and always adapting. And that's going to be important for what's coming down the road.
Well, and for a good part of the year here in Green Bay, I would say every day's a snow day, but Green, not always, right?
We got some ice. I'm actually a little concerned about your flight tonight.
Well, we haven't talked about that yet, so hopefully we'll be all right. But and then when you talk about Betsy working with you, let's talk about, I mean, she was just not discovered, but in some regards, like she was out mowing her grass and Ken like recruited her.
Yes. Yeah.
So it really is a family affair. I'm excited about, where you guys are headed. And I think most importantly about creating this podcast and getting this information out there and for more people to learn about the great work you guys are doing. So
for sure.
Best of luck, man.
Thanks.
You got it.
Appreciate it.